Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building. That's right.
Hey, now.
Back at it again. They can't hold us down. They can't stop us.
They can't.
We'll come up with something to talk about. And on today's episode, we got to break down which Bears have the most to prove in the final 3 games of the season. There's still football left to play. I know Bears fans were all ready to end it up.
Time to go on vacation, baby.
Left out there for the Chicago Bears, and that means that there's opportunities to prove yourself in different ways. Leave this season feeling good. Who has the most to prove leaving this season? Also, a little bit of basketball news. Got to talk about the Denver Nuggets looking like they're heavily in on Zach LaVine, trying to get the 2-guard out of Chicago, and could that bring back a young star back to the Chicago Bulls? Talk about that, and finally take a look around the NFL. We got to get some diversity in here, JC.
We do.
Can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
They can't make me
Got to talk about something else.
I'm tired.
Getting depressing.
Let's take a look around the NFL and look into who really do we believe in coming out of the playoffs. All that and more in today's episode of The Morning Breeze. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Dare I say? Let's go. Yeah. Hey. Big vibes. Oh my. 12/18/2024, 7:03 in the morning. Good morning, Chicago.
Yo.
We living it up, man. We're living a dream.
Are we?
I'm living my dream.
Or is it a nightmare?
I don't know. It is a sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare.
God,
it's not a beautiful nightmare. It's not. I can guarantee you one thing. There is no beautiful nightmare here. What's good with you, JC? How you feeling this morning, my guy?
Oh, man, I'm feeling revived, refreshed. I actually got a workout in. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. No meat on the diet
yesterday, huh?
That's right. You know, I tried to make sure that I was energetic, that I came in with a purpose today. I'm sorry, you guys, I wasn't here yesterday. I'm making it up. I'm sorry.
You're not forgiven. I'll tell you that.
It's the I got a steak for you if you want it.
Nobody wants the steak. You can't bribe us with.
I'll bribe you off with the
unsolicited meats. Nobody wants this. You're the only one who lives off of steak bribes.
That's fine.
Let's start it off here, JC, because Chicago Bears have 3 games left, and I still think that there's a lot to prove for this team individually. Now, as a team as a whole, they are who we thought they were, and we did not let them off the hook. But individually, I still think that there's a lot that you can go out there and feel good about from individual players heading into next season, especially some of the young players on this team. So, JC, let's run through our top 3 players who have the most to prove to finish out this season. Why don't you crack things off for us, my boy?
All right. Hey, first player I have in mind that needs to end this season off on a good note is a guy that has been kind of up and down since his rookie season. We talked about the protection on this line. That is the most pivotal place or position group, I should say, going into the offseason that needs just about all the help they can get. But I'm specifically looking at Darnell Wright. I need Darnell Wright in particular at right tackle to make sure that he solidifies his role right there. You know, I know he's had some ups and downs. Sometimes I've even looked at it as, well, is it because of his counterparts on the line? Sometimes when you're not really cohesive as a unit, everybody kind of just falls off in their play. You know, you're not really playing together as one strong line. And I feel like that's affected Darnell Wright in his play, in his ability. His rookie season seems like it was a little bit better than his sophomore season. He kind of went into a slump. I know you mentioned the past couple of weeks before this past week, he did seem to kind of have an uptick, but then he kind of regressed a little bit this past week. And so I just need him to kind of solidify that right tackle position, because my goodness, we're going to go into the offseason needing about 3 positions filled on that line: center, guard, probably, and definitely left tackle for sure. So he's a guy that I'm looking at that's needs to make sure that he solidifies his role.
No, yeah, Darnell Wright, I think is a great one. I mean, massive step back this season in production. I mean, it's tough, right? Because everybody looks bad when the offensive line is as bad as it is. When your right guard's a backup right guard, when your starting center's a backup starting center, when your when your left when your left guard is often injured and you really can't rely on him to be out there, and so you got a backup left guard in there. When your left tackle should have been a backup left tackle probably last season, but you came into this season still with high hopes for him, and then you put in your 3rd-round rookie who also looks like a backup left tackle. Yeah, it's got to make things harder for a potential one starter right tackle. And Darnell Wright, I think there's more times than not where the protection kind of gets around him, or where the defender gets around him this season. But it's kind of tough when I'm trying to help everybody.
Yeah.
And it might end up being, which at that position, it's really tough to do. It's almost impossible to do. You got to focus on your own job. You got to focus on your own man and block that guy and not worry about anybody else. I think when he does that, you do see some good production out of him. But I think that's a tough job to do on the offensive line, because if I only worry about my guy, that means the guy that's supposed to be blocked over here probably gets through and kills my quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a great start for me. I go on the other side of the line. Give me Tevin Jenkins for my number one, because here's the thing.
That is big time.
When you're where the Bears are, I cannot guarantee that we can't. I can't guarantee that we shouldn't sign Tevin Jenkins next season. Now, as far as injury concerns, as far as availability, I don't think he will ever have it. I think that he will always be an injury-prone player. Big guys don't get healthy. They just don't. That's the real reality.
And he gets hurt every year. Yeah,
he gets hurt every year. Big guys don't get healthier. Tevin Jenkins is probably going to be hurt every year. I don't think that he gets signed for, 5 years, $90 million. But if he plays well through the final 3 games, and he has played in, now games started versus games finished is very different for Tevin Jenkins.
He'll start a game, but he definitely
he started, I think, most of the games, but he hasn't finished all of them. But this year he has started 13 games. If you get to 16 games started this season, you got to pay him.
Yeah.
You have no choice. You don't have enough talent. You're not going to be able to fix 5 offensive line positions. You got to pay him. And at a minimum, I think the versatility that Tevin offers you, especially, and I've been saying this the entire season, I would attack center to the left side of this line. Give me the center, give me left guard, give me left tackle. I'm attacking that in the draft. I'm attacking that in free agency, because I loved what I saw from Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright on that right side. I think that the Bears should have made that change months ago.
It's not rocket science. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you saw something great over there, but they, for some reason, they're very adverse to the idea. I think that you get, by putting them together, you may even get the most health out of Tevin Jenkins, because he's not going to have to work as hard to try and overextend himself to try and make a play. That's just me. I think that works best for the Bears. But to me, if Tevin Jenkins plays well over the final 3 games, you have to talk about signing him, because you have no options.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think, I mean, you said it best. The reason why we probably have to think about keeping him is because there's just so many holes on this line you have to address that are a little bit more important. And at the very least, what Tevin Jenkins brings to the field when he is healthy. And if he does string along 3 straight games, hopefully without getting hurt and going out at some point in any of them, yeah, you pay the guy, but you make sure whatever that number is, that it's a reasonable amount, because going forward, the chance of him not playing a full healthy season is very high. And that's the only problem, is the availability. It's not the ability. We've talked about that plenty of times.
Yeah.
Tevin Jenkins is your best player on the offensive line outside of Darnell Wright. Like, he is
don't get me wrong. He's not going to have it. It sucks. That's where you at.
Yeah.
He's not
And
going
that's
to have it.
unfortunate. That's unfortunate. You have to make that decision on whether or not, we're going to keep him because he's the best we got. And of course, Ryan Poles again just goes for the guys that get hurt all the time. I don't know. It's just
Well, that was a pace pick. I can't even put that one on Poles. That was a pace pick.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
But he did come in very similar to how Ryan Poles selected Karan Amagaji. Did start his career off injured. Remember, he started his career off with a surgery. So it's never good. Like, I don't know. Listen, I'm no O-line expert. I will never claim to be. But heading into next year's draft, if we could draft dudes who aren't already dealing with a gunshot wound, that'd be great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we could draft dudes who don't already have like a hamstring ripped off the bone, I think that would benefit the team moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be nice. So, no, big call out on Tevin Jenkins. Obviously, we know the offensive line is something that needs to improve vastly in the offseason. Hopefully, in the final 3 games, we got at least 2 guys that we can rely on going into the next season. My second guy that I think needs to prove himself in the final 3 games, and shout out to the chat because you all are on it. Hades Xander. I'm gonna just say it the way you said it because Tariq Stevenson, I've talked about him in a big way.
Good one.
Like he even said, seems like he has to prove he cannot be a liability because he seems to hurt this team in big moments every week. Couldn't have said it better. That's the exact reason why I need to see more from Tariq Stevenson. Now, I will say he's coming off of a good game where he did have an interception, and I believe he had another pick, but it was called back because it happened to be interference on him. I believe it was one of those where he was jabbering at the Jefferson and
he pushed off, literally pushed over Jordan Addison.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
and then had to clearly look the ref like, what?
What did I do? You know, so I need to see him. Yeah, Jesus. So Tariq to me has been one of those guys where I've been very hot and cold with him. You know why? Because ever since the Washington game, and honestly, even before that, I've said it before. It seems as if he is a liability. It seems as if he is one of those players that has the skill level, that has the ability, that has the talent to be a very good cornerback too, which is what he is now on this team. However, there are times in the big moments, as a shout out to Xander again, who just said that, where he's a liability to the team. You have to lock in. You have to lock in on those moments where you do not hurt your team from winning. And you've done that multiple times, whether it be dumb penalties, whether you jabbering back and forth at superstar players that have already proven themselves in the league, and you don't have the trophies on the wall to even do that, and yet you're going back and forth and still getting burned by these guys during the game. So that's my thing is I need you to solidify that CB2 role. Otherwise, we may be going into the offseason also addressing that as well. Because if he doesn't get his act together, I think we do need to look to the draft or even free agency. We got some money to spend where we need to get a guy behind Jalen Johnson that can be a little bit more of a shutdown corner. I know that Tariq has it in him, but it's too wishy-washy. It's just up and down with him. I need him to make sure that he locks in and becomes a better player, discipline-wise and also just skill-wise.
To me, I wonder if that is done with a new standard being set. If you go get a Vrabel, if you go get a I guess a Flores, right? If you go get one of those guys who's like, nah, we're not gonna let that fly. You know what I mean? I wonder if that standard is set because it's clearly not a talent problem. But you listen, how many times have we seen talent derail a guy's ability to stay, or talent, but not being smart in the moment derail a guy's ability to stay on the field? I mean, as wild as it was, you know, what was his name? Marcus Lattimore? He's talented.
Yeah, absolutely.
But a lot of the extracurricular stuff, a lot of the hands, right, is a reason why he wasn't always the starting DB on a team. Not to say he couldn't play in the NFL. The talent kept him in the league. But a lot of the extracurricular stuff is a reason why people aren't going to put you out there as a starter because I can't rely on you to stay on the field. So we'll see what I think Tyreek's a great one. A lot of question marks around him this season. Numbers wise, if we being real, a good season. Numbers wise, if we're being real, a really good season.
Yeah, but you can kind of see the eye test. Like let's just be real. The eye test says, hey, there's moments where he just checks out, or he gets it taken advantage of. And then the egregious moment, obviously, was when this guy was literally not playing the game of football while he was on the field when your assignment got the winning touchdown. Like that's my biggest red flag with him is, are you locked in to the point where you are you going to get better? Do you see the need to improve? You can sit there and say I'm sorry, and get in front of the team and get in front of the media and say I should have been better. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna do better. Whatever. I need you to show it. Stop talking. Show it. Stop talking on the field too. Show that you're a special talent. Be consistent. That's my biggest thing with him.
Yeah, no, for sure. My number 2 on the field, to me, I think that you gotta listen. I'm sticking with the big name right here, Montez. 4.5 sack season. I know that you're hurt. I do know that he's hurt. I mean, listen, he's banged up. He's been dealing with injuries all season that have kept him off of the field. His quarterback pressures, his quarterback hurries are all there. But this feels like there's a balancing act that you have to have, right? And I'm not going to say that this defensive line is worse than what at times was next to Khalil Mack, where I have to give you that Khalil Mack, like, all right, dog, they quadruple teaming my mans because there's no one else to block. Like Montez is getting for sure first block and then a chip, and he's still getting near the quarterback. But when you're the highest paid player on the team, got to get home. And we just haven't seen Montez get home nearly as much this season. Again, I understand the injuries. To me, the injuries are the biggest thing for him. The shin injury this season. I can't even imagine. Like, your shin is everything when you're trying to push off. Can't even imagine what you're dealing with injury-wise. But to me, if you can get to a 7-sack season to finish out this year, like, I think that you can look at him individually and say, okay, it's still there. He's still got it. I'm not sitting here nearly as worried about him at the end of the year. If you're talking about you signed a guy who ended up having a 7-sack season while dealing with injuries all year, I think that I can wrap my brain around that a little bit more than he finishes out this year with a 4.5-sack season. While the injuries are there, you've played in enough of these games. You've had enough opportunities. And that's the thing. The opportunities are there. He's right around the quarterback. You got to get to the quarterback, though. That's why we signed you. And I think, to me, if you're finishing out this season around a 7-sack season, I feel a lot better. 6.5, 7 sacks. I feel a lot better about Montez Sweat heading into next year. I think that would give me a little bit of a boost and confidence that he's still that guy that we want on the defensive line, even though, that's half the sacks that he had last season.
That's the insane part, is we thought going into this season, based off of last season, what did he have, 6.5 for both teams, I believe, or something like that. And it was,
for both teams, yeah.
It was like, oh, okay, you're definitely building off of that, because we thought this season there was more pressure, there was more depth on the defensive line. He got a little bit more help. We didn't get the big name guy across from him like we wanted to. We missed out on a few names in free agency, but we thought that Montez was definitely going to be this was going to be his coming out season, in a sense, with the stats. And yes, you can say him being injured, him being hurt, definitely played a role in him kind of having a lack of sacks, but I don't know. It just seems like there was still like a lack of a motor every now and then, at least from my test, that seemed as if Montez just wasn't the same guy, this year. And yes, injuries can do that. I admit injuries can definitely do that. That can weigh on a person, whether it be, an ankle or a back or whatever the case may be. Like, that can hinder a person from, getting to the quarterback and putting out 100%. I get that. 4.5 though is a little too low for me, in my opinion, for a whole season. And if you do close out with about 6 or 7, you close out with maybe a sack per game, you get 3 sacks for the next 3 games. Okay, good. That's a good way to kind of end off the season and going into next season. But get healthy. Again, the biggest thing for us is health with these guys that are our best players, whether it be on both sides of the trenches. We talk about Tevin, same with Montez. Get healthy so that we know that we can rely on you going into next season, because that's another position that we have to address in the offseason, is the opposite him in rushing and edge.
Yeah.
And so if we have to also worry about Montez and his production going into the next season, that's a problem. Do we have to address both sides of the football, both sides of the trenches?
You absolutely do.
defensive end. I mean, as far as like, do we maybe need to have a backup that could come in for Montez Sweat that we know will produce a little bit more? And so I don't want to have that question mark. So yes, I hope Montez definitely does close out the season strong. My last and final person that I think needs to prove himself in these final 3 games is Tory Taylor. No,
you bastard!
No, I'm not gonna. He's proven enough. Let me say.
I'll tell you what. You know who could prove something for me is Grando. Oh, he doesn't play for us.
You shut your mouth.
Oh, that Bucky Irving could prove something. Oh, dang it! Doesn't play for us either.
Well, you know what's funny is you mentioned running backs. That actually is my third and final
nothing to prove for me, brother.
I'm sorry. I have to mention it because $8 million, he's going to be here, and he's going to be here next year. DeAndre Swift, I need you to figure out a way to produce longer gained yards. Don't just get those chunk plays every now and then, every blue moon. I need you to have more of a steady game. Prove to us that you were worth the money that you were paid. I know we joke all the time is, how much is he worth now? Well, $1 million. How much is he worth now? Well, he's worth $1 this time because he only got joking? 2 yards. What?
Who's joking?
You know what? Don't you dare. You better not dare come into any. You being the GM talking about you're going to pay him $1 over 4 years is insanity. All right.
Hey, listen.
Insanity.
I got a $300,000 rookie coming up next season in Ian Wheeler.
Oh, you know what? Ian Wheeler might.
Yeah, everybody forgot about Ian Wheeler.
I
got a $300,000 rookie coming up in Ian Wheeler.
And he's still on the team, right? They still kept him on the team on reserve.
DeAndre Swift into the sun.
You Tory Taylor, just kick him off the team.
Hey, Tory, I need you to punt something.
Who's that? Oh my goodness! No, I look. DeAndre Swift has to prove.
Oh boy, look at this guy. Hey, DeAndre, come over here for a second. Here you go. There you go. Take that with you.
Just knock him out the scene. God. No, he has to prove himself. As much as I talk about how great I think he can be, and there's spurts where you see him, be used the right way, mind you. I think it's clear that he has some issues that he has to address. The vision is not there. And you've mentioned it plenty of times when he's trying to hey, up the gut, and you can go just one cut, get some yards, go up to stop trying to act like you're a power back and ramming into guys you can't even push up the field. One cut and go. That's one of the things I need to see from him closing out this season. Oh, what? Whoa! What did I say? See, when you're not trying to pause, when you're not thinking dirty, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know what I said.
I'll let the chat get you on that one. That was crazy.
Fine, whatever. I don't even care. Whatever. It's I Cribs. Yep, there we go. Pause. Cribs. All right, whatever. I know it's coming. Anyway, I think DeAndre
Steve-O's been here this morning too. You definitely go here.
I ain't worried about Steve-O, man. Yeah, whatever, man.
Nah, man.
It is what it is.
Realistically, to me. Sure, if DeAndre Swift plays well over the last 3 games, no, it does nothing. I'm sorry. He is who he is, bro. I'm not surprised by DeAndre Swift looking like this. I'm not surprised by DeAndre Swift playing this way because this is what he did in Philly. Everybody's like, oh, he's 1,000-yard back. And I'm like, it's 3 games of him getting 400 yards.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the season. I'm not.
Yeah, he has been bad. He was bad.
He's been horrible for the last couple of years. He's not worth the money you paid him. He ain't worth $8 million with $8 million in his pocket. And to me, it was a bad signing. It was a horrible way to start your off season. I just remember being completely stunned that we actually signed a running back to start things off. And listen, I hope you learned.
You were against it, but what did you want to do with that money? I forgot what you had said at that time.
Anything on the offensive line.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Anybody that can protect my quarterback. At that point, we knew we were getting Caleb.
Yeah.
At that point, it was Caleb Williams is coming. Here we go. All right, let's do it. Anything to protect the quarterback. There were options out there to protect the quarterback. He's not a good running back. I'm sorry. When you can't run, you're not a good running back. When there's a very key portion of that word that you need to do to be
Yeah.
good at the job, that would be running. I'm just saying, you can't be a running back
and not know how to run,
and you're bad at running. So I'm good on him. I've been good on him the entire time. I never would have signed him to that deal, but I also wouldn't have signed Saquon. So
no, you crazy for that. You bring Saquon here, he's doing things in spite of this offensive line.
Offensive line.
It's just the talent. That's because Saquon is having an MVP almost level season where running backs don't even get considered for MVP with the quarterbacks.
Of course he is. Because the offensive line is massively better than what he left.
What I'm saying is, even in New York, he was a beast.
In New York last season, he was 3.9 yards per carry for 962 yards.
I meant overall in his career. Yeah, last year was
beaten and battered and tired, and you're gonna take him from that offensive line to Coleman Shelton?
Yeah. Hey, I get it. Philly has a top line. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying Saquon is still Saquon. He still is a talented back.
Saquon was 3.9 yards per carry behind an offensive line better than this one.
Hey, man. Saquon, all right? I would take Barkley in a heartbeat over DeAndre Swift.
I'd take Charles Barkley before I take Saquon Barkley.
That's terrible.
Charles got a little more meat. He might be able to block up front. Charles then added some weight. He might be able to block up front.
40 seconds. Yeah, all right.
Oh, dog. But nah, man. To finish. By the way, it's that like button, man.
Barkley.
We got 146 in the building, 32 likes, man. Y'all hitting us with that Flus energy. You're giving us that Thomas Brown energy.
Yeah, at this point it's Thomas Brown. I can't even.
Thomas Brown energy. I'd like a little Mike Vrabel energy.
Yeah. I can't even say anything anymore about him.
Oh man. Number one is obvious to me. The player that has the most to prove is Caleb Williams. I love what we've seen out of him. I think that he is a rookie and is going through some of the rookie struggles, but as a baseline, if you're telling me that he's finishing out the season with probably 20, 22, 23 touchdowns, 5 or 6 interceptions, that's a good baseline to start your career with. That's one of those careers where we look back on it in 10 years, and while I'm telling everybody like, no, Caleb kind of struggled his rookie year, then no one will believe me. And they'll be like, what are you talking about? 24 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. It's not struggling. It's going to be Kid. Watch, it's going to be Kid. But it's to me.
By the way, prayers up for Kid because Kurt Cobain's is benched.
Oh, Kurt Cobain's been benched, dog. Oh, prayers up for Kid. I love that in the chat last night, everybody literally was just like, bruh, prayers up for Kid. Like, dude, is he okay? Does he need a hug?
Their defender can't defend no more. Your guys on the bench. You can't say
no, man,
nothing.
Listen, he hasn't thrown a interception since Jacksonville, which is his last bad interception. He's putting up numbers. He's still scoring touchdowns. I think that, last game was a rough game for him completely, but you finish out this season strong. I think if you start to get some accuracy on the deep ball, that's the biggest thing. I don't know if that's going to happen this season, but you got to get some accuracy on that deep ball. And if you could finish out the season doing that, I think that would do a heck of a lot for not only Bears fans, but also his own. Like the deep ball at this point kind of feels like his version of the yips for the NFL.
That's funny you say that because that's what scares me. You look at some of those those passes that could have been touchdowns, honestly. They could have scored 2 more touchdowns, and one was not on him because it was one that went right through Roma Dunze's hand. You got to catch that ball. Yeah. But then there was a lot of people saying that maybe he doesn't have touch on his passes, which I think he does have that in his repertoire, but I feel like he zips it, in there a little bit. But that one pass that was egregious where it was Keenan Allen who beat his man, and Caleb had him going into the end zone, just completely overthrew it.
Yeah.
That's a ball that you're supposed, as the number one guy, number one drive, that should be a layup for you.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that should be, easy for you. So, yeah, no, that's something I would love to see is somehow, some way, get your deep ball accuracy on point, because that's what scares me is you're good with the short passes. You can make some spectacular throws, off platform, But when your base is set and you're still trying to throw downfield, you're not accurate.
Yeah.
We got to get that on point because that was one of your supposed positives coming out of USC. So, yeah, definitely need to see that from Caleb.
And it's almost like at this point he's just trying to overprove it. He's trying to prove that no, I can shoot, I can throw this ball, I can make this shot, I can. This is what I've been known for. This is who I am. This is my identity. I gotta make this throw, and it's like, nah, bro, make the throw that matters.
Yep.
Now, when that throw happens, hit the deep ball, but it feels like he's in his own head when it comes to making that pass. It feels like he's like, okay, there it is. Himself. I got the opportunity, and you launch it over, and it's just like when guys come to the NBA, and all of a sudden it's just like, what happened? You used to be able to shoot free throws. You know, I think it took Markelle Fultz what 3 years to learn how to play NBA basketball again.
Jesus, that's crazy.
It took Markelle Fultz a long time, dog, before he learned how to play basketball again. Like,
yeah.
Because he lost it. And Markelle Fultz was a dog in college.
Bro, I loved watching him play. You talk about on Washington, I believe. Man, beast. But I don't know what happened then.
I mean, listen, you went through something
it's true,
where
Steve, he's still out there learning because Markelle still is not the same.
Oh no, it will probably never be the same.
That's unfortunate.
It'll probably never be the same. But I think that the fact that you're seeing him get his confidence back and he's confident in himself as a player, it is good to see. And he's still, I mean, it's crazy to say. How old is Markelle? He might be 24.
That dude is still probably in his where he's supposed to be going into his better years in the league. That's the insane part.
Okay, no, 26.
26. That's going into your prime.
Yeah, but you gotta have it by then. Yeah, Markelle.
Yeah, no, you do.
You gotta have it by then.
You do, but I mean,
comparatively, not the same though. He was playing 29 minutes a game last year, had 13 points. Minutes not the same though. But
he was actually one of the first guys I started realizing whatever the heck yips was because I was like, what is this yips thing? And when Markelle Fultz was going through what he was going through, they were talking about that ad nauseum. And that's why I'm like, well, does Caleb kind of have some of that where he's just in his own head? And it's just like one of those things where he actually has a chance to make an easy pass, make it look good down the field. And it's like you're just overthrowing everything or maybe even underthrowing. It's like it's never as accurate as you would hope it to be. So hopefully that gets fixed.
Yeah, no. And that's what the last 3 games for me is. Hey, show me that you got it. Show me that you that you can go out there and you have confidence in yourself to make this throw, that you have the ability to make this throw, that you can get a little bit more consistent with this throw. Because here's the thing, realistically, what you're going to remember, while this season has not been a great season, what you'll remember of Caleb Williams' rookie year is these lasting moments of divisional games versus the Packers, still versus the Lions, who are completely banged up. And we're going to get into talking about the around the NFL, the divisional games here, right? I think that, when you talk about the AFC and the NFC North, Lions aren't the same Lions. You know what I mean? So you can go out there and you may be able to play a hopefully much better game versus the Lions and not just a half. And if you're able to put some numbers up and start to hit some of those deep shots down the outside the numbers, inside the numbers, he's got it. Outside the numbers, it's scary. If you're able to hit some of those deep shots inside outside the numbers, I think that's gonna change a lot of perceptions around this young man, especially moving forward. Hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do, man. We're gonna take a quick break, listen into a word from our sponsors, and when we come back, one Chicago player may be getting moved.
Oh boy!
But is it worth what the Bulls could get back? We'll talk about all that and more on today's episode of The Morning Breeze. We'll be right back right after this. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name. You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https:/aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. Oh, welcome back. From one struggle city to another. Best show for Chicago sports. Best show for Chicago sports, baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Kill me now.
Covering the worst in sports.
Oh, boy. Did you see that graphic that showed playoff appearances?
Oh, yeah.
For all teams by cities?
I want to say my guy actually sent me that. Yeah.
Over like the last 7 years.
Yeah. Shout out to Nova. I believe he sent me that where it's only 4.
Chicago has 4.
Yeah.
Let me
Philly
see.
has 72. Toronto's got 51. Phoenix got 38. Bay Area, which is the Warriors, the Giants, the A's, the 49ers, the San Jose Sharks, 81. 133 for Boston.
This is just appearances, just in the playoffs.
4 for 5 teams in Chicago over the last 7 years.
Chicago over the last 7 years, 4 playoff appearances. And it's what? It's the Bears once. It's the Cubs twice.
Oh, Bears none.
Well, the Bears won in 18. That's 7. That's within 7 years ago.
Yeah, I'm looking at this graphic. He's got it wrong. Okay, because it says 2 for the White Sox, 1 for the Blackhawks, and 1 for the Bulls.
When did the Bulls
do their math?
Are we counting play-ins? Yeah, somebody effed that up.
No, this is how many playoff games they've won. So it's playoff wins.
Oh, this is playoff wins.
That's what it is. That's what it is. So that's even worse. That still sucks. Yeah, so you're right. Yeah, the Bears definitely did make the playoffs, but they definitely didn't win it.
Oh, well.
Good God.
Was that last playoff win? 11? 2011?
Who did we play?
Well, we went to the NFC title game with Jay Cutler. Last time I remember winning in the playoffs.
Did we win with Matt Nagy and Mitch in the first one, or was that the one we lost to in the double door?
That's oh, you bastard.
I'm sorry. That's the only way. I'm sorry. Little PTSD.
just gotta make the button fire.
USADA, baby.
USADA, baby.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Well, hey, listen, the Chicago Bulls might get different as the Athletic dropped this article. The New York Times dropped this article. Sam Amick of the New York Times and of the Athletic dropping this on Zach LaVine, talking about league sources say that there's a focus on LaVine in recent discussions with the Nuggets. Significant focus on Zach LaVine. They're interested in the 29-year-old who has averaged 21.7 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 4.2 assists this season. LaVine, a 2-time All-Star, is owed $43 million this season, $45.9 million next season, has a player option worth $48.9 million for the 2026-27 campaign. Now, realistically speaking, if this is a deal that the Denver Nuggets are looking to make, it's because they kind of are trying to still go all in on this iteration of the Nuggets, and they realize they don't have enough offense. Which I'll tell you what, I'll tell you one thing right now. There are times where the offense is the issue. There are times where the defense is the issue. There are times where the team is the issue. It's a team that just looks like they don't want to be there when you watch them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what's happening over there, but it's a team that just looks like they are done with each other. And so maybe a trade and a change coming in there. It'd be interesting to see two former dunk champs or former dunk competitors. You lost Aaron Gordon on the same team
twice.
What would be interesting about this is any deal that's discussing Zach LaVine, I think almost will always have to include, especially to Denver, I should say, we'll have to include Michael Porter Jr. And so getting back Michael Porter Jr. for the Chicago Bulls, I think would be I would call that a positive. I think that's a good piece to get back. I understand the back injury issues, but when Michael Porter Jr. is on his game and when he's getting shots, he's one of the best scorers in the NBA. I mean, when he's taking 14, 15 shots, he's able to put up points, and you've seen that from MPJ over the last 10 or so. All of a sudden he's taking more and more shots more times than not. And I think, you're seeing the numbers start to tick up right now through 24 games. MPJ is averaging 18.5 points, 7 rebounds a game, 2.8 assists. Now I will say this, you thought the Bulls defense was bad. Now,
boy,
it's about to get ugly. It's about to get absolutely terrifying up in there. But I do think that there is something to take from the fact that you've got MPJ on this team, that you have a young player who, if you do make that trade, can go out there and can be a legitimate scorer that you can count on.
Yeah,
like you don't have enough of those guys. I like Kobe White. Kobe White's super inconsistent.
He is. He's
and
still got that issue.
Maybe he bounces back with this kind of deal without Zach LaVine on the floor.
I feel like Kobe White has still been kind of been back and forth without Zach LaVine on the floor. I thought that Kobe White would kind of take more of the reins coming into this season, knowing that he didn't have to play full-on point guard with a real point guard, a pure point guard like Josh Giddey, and even backing him up in Lonzo Ball. Like you got really good facilitators right there at the one where I thought Kobe White was going to eventually just, hey, I'll take it, Kobe. Rest in peace. I feel like he definitely would have, been the guy that would have stepped it up and gave us at least, 25, 24 points. This is his breakout season. But going back to Zach LaVine, I still feel like this is going to be a good trade if it goes through for both teams. One, because you're offloading, Zach LaVine to a team that definitely needs him. Like you mentioned, the stats are there for him. Shooting a good percentage from the three, I believe 42.8 on the season for LaVine. So very good numbers there, 56.9% shooting percentage from inside the arc. And so that's exactly what a team like Denver needs. I don't know what's going on up there where everybody's chemistry is off. I saw the issue with Aaron Gordon, a few weeks back, having this issue with Jamal Murray. And then Jamal was like, screw you. Like, well, what? Like, what's going on? Is the air up there thin enough where it's like it's affecting their play? Like, I don't know what's going on. But this is a very good trade, I think, for both teams that are in just different phases of their window, where Denver is still, trying to get back to that year where they won the championship. They have the pieces to do it. They have the coaching. They have the ability. But they just got to kind of come together a little bit more. So this would be good for them. And then, of course, needing to offset a huge a salary to kind of restructure their current salary. Michael Porter is making, I think, $35.8 million.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons why this would be a significant part of the trade. And then you're getting back somebody who, again, like you said, when he's on, he is on. One of the better scorers in the league when he's actually hot. But he doesn't provide defense, which actually might be a good thing, because if you're trying to position yourself for a rebuild, you need a guy who's not going to play defense, so you can lose some games while looking good.
I tell you this right now, you're giving MPJ 20 shots a game, you're gonna win some games.
I'll take it.
He gonna score.
He's gonna lose some games. He gonna shoot you out of some games.
You gonna lose some games too. But I think making him a number one on a team, which he probably would come in and be.
Would he be?
Why wouldn't he?
I didn't even think about that.
He's probably your number one. He's the best scorer that would be on the team. There's no question.
I would just say Patrick Williams just to spite him. Patrick would end up being the number one guy. No, he wouldn't. He clearly wouldn't. I'd rather have Montes up there all day.
I think this is something that. Oh, okay, all right. I think this is something that chair sunk a little bit there. That could be legit because of course the connection with AK in Denver. We know the history there. We know that I believe AK was part of the team, the unit that drafted MPJ. I think he was still there for the MPJ draft. So
when everybody overlooked him like 2 times,
100%, right? Like, no, I would be okay with this deal. I think it's a deal that makes sense. I think it helps the Bulls cap wise, especially because Zach LaVine keeps making more money, MPJ keeps making less money. And to me, I think that MPJ is the kind of player where, if you finish out this season, probably not building around him, but with that piece in mind, I don't know if it gets you to that draft pick that you need, but you've got some scorers on this team. Hopefully Kobe's able to bounce back a little bit more. He's been about 18 points a game, so maybe he's able to get himself going more. I don't know what the heck Josh Giddey is, but how he plays how he plays off of MPJ and is able to put guys in position. This is a bad defense, though, man. Jesus,
of course,
that is some bad. The whole league is playing bad defense, so I guess it don't matter that much. But that's horrible defense.
Yeah, I think the league. I mean, my goodness, you're seeing a lot of 130, 140 point games. I think there was one time where the Bulls, I think they lost back-to-back games where they gave up 140 points. I believe back-to-back in the early part of the season. I want to say I saw that. But I mean, yeah, overall your defense is at a low in this league. But everything is catered more to the 3-point shooting and just constant running gun offense, which I think the Bulls are actually good at. I think they have a pace that kind of sets them up as one of the better teams in the league when it comes to pace.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the rebuild and what they're trying to accomplish this season, clearly they're not trying to go anywhere. Clearly they're not going to make a playoff run or a championship run. And so yes, you can shoot some of these guys that are veteran players. I'm also obviously outside of Zach LaVine looking for maybe a Vooch trade or whatever to sweeten the deal. Kobe White, I feel like maybe he still is a guy that you can build around. But I'm looking for the improvement of a Montes Buzelis. I'm looking for the improvement of an Ayo Dosunmu, who I think going forward can be one of your main pieces in a rebuild in the second or the newer version of this Bulls going forward. So we'll see. I think this is a very good trade. I think the Bulls actually win this trade in the long run because we've talked about Zach LaVine as that guy on a team that is your maybe your 2 score, your 1B or your 2A score on the team. That's his I want to say his comfort zone.
Oh,
but
man.
you gotta have everything around him.
Him with freaking Jokic as one of the best players in the league. Oh man,
it sounds good. Yeah,
that gonna take off over there, dog. I would be excited to see it, man, for him to actually get an opportunity to play in the playoffs because that's really
true.
It'll be cool to see that. It's sad that as like Chicago sports fans, we're just like it'll be good to see him have some fun playing the sport he loves. Let him.
We always root for the people when they leave here. It's the same with Justin. Like, man, we hope Justin actually becomes the quarterback we thought he would be here.
No, it's always I didn't want him to become the quarterback we thought he'd be here. I said,
you know what that happened.
I said, you got to live with regret. Like right now, like Musk can sit there and be like, Caleb's worse than Justin, and I can be like, not a shot.
No,
I mean, like I can confidently say I got Caleb over Justin right now. I'm good. But no, let's finish it out with this, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. AFC and NFC playoffs are here pretty much. I mean, 3 more weeks left in the season. We got a lot of teams clinching playoff spots. I believe top 4 spots in the AFC already clinched. Top 3 spots in the NFC are clinched, and 3 4 still available for the NFC. 3 are still available for the AFC. Here's my question to the chat. Here's my question to you, Jordan, JC. Who do you have the most confidence in right now heading into the playoffs?
Are we talking about that could go all the way?
It could go all the way. Who do you have the most confidence in a championship run from the NFC and from the AFC that could go all the way?
Well, I think it's a little bit more obvious. I'm going to start in the AFC. There's 2 teams that I'm going back and forth on. The Chiefs and the Bills. The Chiefs obviously have won the last 2 championships, and they're going for that 3rd one, which would be historic, which would make them already a juggernaut team, in my opinion, but just kind of legendary, a franchise. 13-1, obviously. That says it all. When you have Patrick Mahomes on your team, even with a lot of the injuries they've dealt with, a lot of the issues they dealt with Rashee Rice, and the off the field issues with that, all the things going on, you still got that team just ready to win it all. They find a way to win. You have a legendary head coach in Andy Reid. I'm not betting against them most times. However, Buffalo Bills lately, they do scare me because they have been hitting on all cylinders, which is one of the reasons why I think Joe Brady has been getting a lot of, more attention as one of those up and comers when it comes to maybe a head coach for us or just on the market next year. Their offense is humming, and you love to see it because you thought when they got rid of Stephon Diggs, when they got rid of Gabe Davis, that maybe they would regress. That hasn't happened at all. Josh Allen has looked like an MVP, less interceptions over the season. Like he is on a heater. So I got those two teams coming out of the AFC. I think those two teams are going to be duking it out to represent the AFC. The Steelers, very, very good defense, but we already know what they have there at quarterback. Justin and
balling though.
Yeah, but he ain't no dang Josh Allen, and he definitely ain't no dang Patty Mack.
I don't have to be when I got the Steelers defense.
You're right. They're nice.
Now he's definitely come back down to earth the last couple of weeks. The Browns and the Eagles definitely made him look a little more human, but that Browns game was snowy. That was tough.
Yeah, it was. There was some elements that worked against them, but I still think when it's all said and done, the experience that these two teams have had in the playoffs, and obviously Kansas City over most of them, I think is just going to win out. They're going to find a way to win. I feel like it. I mean, we've seen it. It's obvious. Kansas City and this iteration of them with Patty Mack and Andy Reid, I think they're just hard to overcome. They're hard to overcome. They're hard to beat. So I got those guys. In the NFC, it's a little bit more shadier because the Lions just lost, I believe, to what team did they lose to?
Bills. Lions just
the
lost
Bills. Yeah, they did just lose to the Bills. And so that's another reason why I don't think they will go all the way. Or even if they get to the Super Bowl, I don't think they'll win it all because, Buffalo, I think, will get in their way, or the Chiefs. But if we're just talking about who's coming out of the NFC North, it's either the Lions or the Eagles for me. Philadelphia has found its footing again. There were some issues going on with that team. There's still some issues every now and then. And for fantasy purposes, I can tell you why, because for whatever reason, Jalen Hurts does not like throwing it to AJ Brown. I'm getting sick of that. I lost in my playoff round just because of that, because he only had, I think, a few receptions. Like, what are you doing? Throw the ball to freaking AJ Brown. What is wrong with you? But of course, you got Saquon, which you wouldn't pay for. You wouldn't pay for the MVP running back. I'm just saying. So you have Philly there. You have a full, complete team there. Great offensive line, great offense, and superstars all over the place on that offense. So they're a scary team. I think they are the only ones who, in my opinion, can compete with the Lions, who are a complete team as well. Dan Campbell's got those guys just hitting on all the cylinders. Obviously, I think they have the best offensive line in the game. David Montgomery going down for the season is a huge blow. That is a huge blow. So you're going to have to lean a little bit more on Jahmyr Gibbs and maybe a little bit more passing from Jared Goff. And that's the thing, is he hasn't had to throw a whole bunch of passes each and every game because he can lean on his run game. So maybe there's something to be said about if he has to throw a little bit more, maybe he becomes more inefficient, and maybe that's where the Eagles can kind of attack him, because I think it'll be Eagles Lions to represent the NFC, and it'll be Chiefs Bills to represent the AFC going into the Super Bowl. And so in the end, I have the Chiefs versus the Eagles, and the Chiefs are going to win out. And they're going to win their third Super Bowl in a row.
I'm with you there. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm with you there. But I think here's my thing. And this is where, to me, when I look at the AFC, I like the Bills. I think that they're talented as all get out. I think the Bills don't get it done when it matters most. I think that this is a Chiefs Super Bowl run yet again, because they've got the experience, because they have the mental advantage, and that is big in football. I also think that there's a real chance we see the Bills choke in true Bills fashion before they even get there. If there's a Bills Steelers matchup that comes up, give me the Steelers.
Wow, really?
If there's a Bills-Steelers matchup that comes up, I think that this Steelers defense can absolutely get after Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's playing phenomenal football, but everything is on his shoulders. Everything is on his arm. And we've seen how that works out in the playoffs. I let history be my guide.
Let your conscience
You've
be
seen
your
how
guide.
that works in the playoffs. I let history be my guide. I think this is the best iteration of the Bills that we've seen, but I don't think that this is the best version of this Bills defense that we've seen. And so I do think Russell Wilson can still get after these guys and be able to make some plays. For me, the Chiefs are the class. I get it. Everybody's like, oh, it's the refs. These guys are the luckiest team of all time. It's never been this lucky. There's no way. The refs are always on their side. Well, number one, that's what happens when you win in championships, especially back-to-back ones. And number two, if we're being real about this, go look at all those one-score games that they've won. It's them doing a lot of it. Everybody's like, oh, they're so lucky. Luck isn't blocking a field goal.
Yeah.
Luck isn't getting a defensive stop on the goal line with 30 seconds to go. Now, I will say luck is JPJ snapping the football and when they were about to lose that game, right? But luck isn't, while it did doink in, the kicker doinks it in.
Mm.
Like there's certain things that we can call luck. And there's certain things that we can just say, no, that's like good coaching and situational moments. Just like how the Bears lose all those games, the Chiefs win them. So like for me, that's not luck. It's a good football team that can close it out in the end and has been able to do it for most of this season. There's lucky moments, sure. But it's not luck in the grand scheme of things. And guess what? Even when it is, you need a little bit of luck to win championships.
Mm-hmm.
You need things to fall perfectly for you. So give me Chiefs in the AFC. In the NFC, I hate to say it, Lions are dead. Lions are dead.
You hear that, Don Burr?
Well, it's not that they're not talented.
No, of course not.
There's too many injuries for you to overcome at this point.
They're hurt, yeah.
There are two. You're not overcoming losing David Montgomery. That defense is decimated with injuries.
Yeah.
Like there's so little left. You're going to start to see some losses pile up here at the end of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions still make a run and make it a competitive divisional round. But would anybody be shocked if they get put out in the divisional round at this point? There's some good football teams out here. You got a good Vikings team who's also 12-2, and they're second in the NFC North only because they lost the Lions. You've got an Eagles team in the NFC right now that I think is arguably the best team in the NFC. And guess what? To me, they're not even the best team that they're going to have to face.
Mm-hmm.
You know what team I think makes a run at this NFC title game and is going to be facing the Eagles?
Uh-oh.
Give me Eagle dollars. Sorry, I couldn't help myself on that one. The Los Angeles Rams are ridiculous right now.
Hey, last 7 games, like 7-2 in the last 9 games.
The Los Angeles Rams are making a run for the Super Bowl.
They beat the Bills too in the last couple.
The Los Angeles Rams are making a run for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they are.
I'm saying it here.
They're getting healthy. Yeah,
this team is different right now. These boys can play, and it's crazy how when they're healthy, all of a sudden everybody realizes that they're still talented. The Los Angeles Rams, who the Bears beat, are making a run for the Super Bowl.
When they weren't injured, when they were injured, right?
Shut up. I didn't say that part. I didn't say that part.
That little asterisk.
Yeah.
We'll throw that away. No, you absolutely that actually is a very good point. They are sneaky good. I love Raging Oracle's comment. They look real good, starting to peak at the right time. And I think that's what it is. It's like the timing of everything, because we talked about Detroit just looking like they were eviscerating teams left and right throughout the entire season. And yet now here we are, and they're all just dead and hurt.
Yeah.
Lions are licking their wounds, and I think it might hurt them in the long run, or I'll say in the short term, because they might get kicked out, like you said. I could see that where they're out the first round. or I could see them maybe just holding on and getting to the divisional, or rather the NFC Championship. It's either or with them. But yes, if you want to talk about a team that is up and coming, that's sneaky good, Sean McVay's been there and done that. He's a championship coach.
Yeah.
He still got the same quarterback that won the championship last time. Still got Cooper Kupp. Now you've upgraded with Puka Nacua, because last time I think you only had Odell on the team, and I forgot who the other receiver was, but you've got a better receiving core.
It was Cooper Kupp. It was still Cooper Kupp.
No, Cooper and Puka, I'm saying, is now better than the tandem they had back then. But then now I think it was Robert Woods at the time, maybe. But I think you also have a better defense. Even though you don't have Aaron Donald, obviously, who retired, Jared Verse and those guys, Braden Fisk, like they're balling out. This is a team that is scary.
They hooping, dog, and to me that's the biggest thing about all of it. To me, like you have a team who, like I said, peaking at the right time, who is getting healthy at the right time. Who, to me, if you want to talk about experience, they got all of it.
All of it.
Like there's nobody else who has experience in the NFC in this iteration of it with winning championships.
Yeah.
Buccaneers have a different coach here. You know, the Packers haven't been out of the second round in a while. No, they get second round. I got the Rams to win. I think the Rams represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Wow.
And I think it's Rams Chiefs. I think it's a good game.
Yeah.
And I think the Chiefs 3-peat.
Yeah.
Book it, Dano.
Book it, Dano.
Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love, man. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We might have to do like a basketball sandwich. I like how that worked out there. We did Bears, the little NBA, everybody left. Everybody got up in there, and then we did a little football to finish, and it came back up. It was like an airplane. Like,
so you're saying the Bulls, the meat of the actual show?
I think the sandwich. I think the Bulls are like
roasted turkey,
the lettuce on a BLT. You know, the part that people care about the least.
Okay, all right. That romaine. I don't need that romaine.
I don't need that romaine lettuce.
You need a real like green piece of lettuce, and you get that light clear lettuce, that white lettuce. Nah, bro, keep that.
I mean, it's in there. Like, but you can pull it out every now and then and just throw it away. I mean,
that's hilarious.
Give me the lettuce. Steve said Bulls of the mayo. No, mayo's important. I
think mayo's a little more important than lettuce. I'm not cool with mayo like that.
I'm going Miracle Whip. Actually. I'm going Miracle Whip over mayo all day.
All right,
I'm going Miracle Whip over mayo all day. So maybe Bulls are mayo. Maybe that's a good way to put it. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We gonna get up out of here, man. For Mr. Media, it's your boy Pat the Designer. Back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down.
Peace. BLT,
God. It's just that lettuce. It's just like, who put this on?
Hey, get this mess out of here.
I'm not gonna lie to you. You could just give me a BT. I don't need the L.
BT. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. You know who's got a good BLT?
Oh, here we go.
Panera Bread.
Yes, they do.
Panera Bread has a phenomenal BLT.
Yeah.
They put crack in that every single day.
Put crack in it?
Every day.
Sweet cocaine on it.